The square is recording, right? Yeah, I got the time. Yeah. Okay, so we're going. So, what the hell brought you out to this place so far from the madding crowd here?
And in
Very
between,
curious.
a dramatic adventure. I love adventures, so here we go. I'll give you the short version if I possibly can. Okay. So, 2 years ago, the beginning of 2020, I was in Thailand. I was invited to be part of a healing center in Koh Phangan Island. And I nearly moved there. I bought a business.
This is right before COVID.
This was right before COVID.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when COVID, or whatever we call this, when it struck, I was at March 20th. A good friend of mine said, look, you better get on an airplane back to Melbourne because otherwise you're going to be stuck here in Thailand. She was right, and I did exactly that. After 6 fucking lockdowns, I got tired of, not my life, was pretty much the same. I rode my bicycle to the beach, taking my car here to the waterfall. It's kind of a similar experience.
In Melbourne, you're talking about?
In Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was enjoying Melbourne for 17, going to 5 rhythms classes all the time, starting to teach dancing freedom classes, Cirque du Soleil performances, movies, riding my bicycle everywhere I could, great restaurants. That was my lifestyle. I liked it. But when people couldn't see me with the 5-meter rule, 5-kilometer rule, I said, this is absolutely not acceptable. In my book, I choose freedom. I always have choose freedom. You know me, Vinny, through all my stages of life, from the 20s on.
Yes.
And so I'm going to go off grid. And I started researching, and then suddenly in eBay, the picture of this retreat caravan appeared. I didn't even look for another caravan. I looked at it and I went, oh my God, that's so beautiful. That's so tasteful. The inside, the woods, it's so golden. That's my next home. And I just bought it. I didn't check to see that it was discarded and that it was able to be repaired. And I'm really happy in it. It had some things that have been repaired. Just the heater and the air con's not working. So what? I can deal with that. It's beautiful. Beautiful living there. I love it. I love it. So then I had an opportunity through my real estate agent to sell my apartment to be able to move on. I had an apartment that I got from my mom's inheritance, the dad's inheritance that I bought, and that was kind of my office. And in the one I was renting, I said, okay, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to use that to move off grid. So I bought this, and eventually all the other infrastructure you see, the solar panels, the containers, everything. Anyway, so I struck a deal with someone that was one of her clients that I could stay on his land in kangaroo ground, or really it was like what's the area just above in Marin, funky area just before the mountain as you go up the hill.
Fairfax, you're talking about?
Yeah, it's like Fairfax. Yeah. So, what was I talking about?
Let's see. You had gotten the caravan. You were starting to. I guess you were starting to explore where to be after that. And you figured you no longer needed to be plugged into a
that's right. And
city
so
situation.
This man had this opportunity that she introduced me to one of her clients to stay on his land, 27 acres, kangaroos everywhere, and he said in exchange I would like something. And so we wrote a contract, an agreement for $65,000 that I gave him out of borrowing money from the money I was going to be getting from selling my house, apartment, and he died 10 weeks later.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Which turned the whole thing upside down because he didn't tell his wife or me how much money he owed from gambling. And when the mortgagees came to possess the property, there was a possession hearing on the 22nd of February. It was still by just phone. At the end of the hearing, the judge said to the mortgagee who was ready to kick me off, they had given me a 60-day notice, said, you've given this person the wrong number of days. We require 60 days. You've given the wrong number. You've come in 59 days. We dismiss this case. 5 minutes later, someone knocks on the door of my caravan. It was the mortgagee representative saying, if you don't leave with all of your infrastructure here in the next 45 minutes, everything will be confiscated and you will be arrested for trespassing after leaving it to 6 months. So I wound up going to the animal home from across the street from this lovely couple that I met at the funeral. And so I just basically drove my caravan down across the driveway to the next driveway, and that was good for a few weeks. And I didn't know I was homeless. I was made homeless by this. And so I began to put a post in Facebook, leaving the matrix off the grid, or leaving the grid off the matrix, that one. And I said, this is what's happened with me, and I love waterfalls and streams. If I could be anywhere, and that's where I would choose. And the man who is the co-founder of this community invited me to come up, and with all my things. And so I was ready to come up, and he said, you can't do it. I forgot to include everybody else. I just made a decision because I'm the one that founded the place, and they're not into it. So you can't do it. And so his girlfriend, who lives down at the edge of Melbourne, a place called Gippsland, said, you can move all your things to my place, which I did do. I moved all of this stuff to her place for about a month or so. And then they came down and they said, look, you really want to be part of this community. Why don't you come up when we go back up? There's a lot of dysfunction there. You probably could be really helpful. And with your playfulness and your ability to be a coach, because that's what I did when I first came to the you know what you can do. So, what do you think? So I came up, and that's exactly what happened. And I've been here for 8 months now. I haven't left. I've started to travel around. But then, first people were really interested, and then after a while, it's like, why am I traveling 5, 6, 7 hours, spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars in petrol, hundreds and hundreds of dollars in repairing the car? I'd rather people come here. This is home. What am I doing? And so, now I'm doing the fine. This is the first day I have sketched art since I come here, and I'm starting to really feel this is home. When we go into the waters, you'll see
amazing
exactly
journey.
why. Thank you, Vinny. That's
Very
how
dramatic.
I got here. Does that explain it?
Yeah.
What do you hear in that adventure, in that drama? That
Oh man. Well.
Wait a minute, it's not finished. There's more to the story, which is the same kind of stuff. So I came up here just with my Nissan Patrol. I came up here with my Nissan Patrol. So this is the PS part of the story. It was a wet season. I was in a swamp down below where you first came up near the kitchen for months. It was ridiculous. I didn't have any of this other stuff here. All of it was down at her place in Victoria. Finally, June, I guess because I've become a bit of a mentor to him, and I'm listening to him, I've become the mediator of this whole community. That's become my role. I never imagined that, but I'm being highly respected for my mediation skills. And that's working out great. Even people who are deeply in conflict, I'm invited in, and my counsel, my guidance, my play, whatever it is, I'm at least one of the people. So that's been great to feel that feeling of, because I don't have the $65,000 that I gave to with this other man. That's what people have to give to be part of this community. To have a land share, not to own, but for the rest of their life, just what I signed up for before. So I'm practicing goodness, service to humanity, to all here, and I feel that with my goodness and what I'm creating, I may just be here for the rest of my days. And why not? And again, give this over to Viggy's daughter. Do you know that?
Wow.
I'm giving her everything.
Aww.
Did you meet her? No, you'll meet
Sweet.
her.
No,
when you meet her, you'll see. Somehow, since I'm not in any relation with anyone, it came up one day in conversation. I said, Viggy, are you open to you being a patron of the arts with me? I know you respect my work. You put on websites like you did originally with me. And would you be willing to, in exchange for providing that to me as a service, that I give to you either all or as much as I have left of my property, my inheritance. And she said, give it to my daughter, give it to my daughter. So that's the relationship I have with him. It's a very special relationship.
And he's right there on Wilson's Creek, of all places.
When you wrote that, you said, I don't think this is going to work. You don't know how far away I am. And then, oh, you're at the end of Wilson's Creek Road, are you? Well, I happen to know one of my best friends lives at the very end. Turn that off now, thank. That's how I got here.